Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to share something a little bit different. I'm excited to share my annual budget. So you probably see from the title, this is something I do every year is I kind of take what I know about income and expenses and I multiply everything by 12 because I know how much it is monthly. Based on this past year's numbers, and then I kind of average things out and kind of give myself an estimate of what is to come for the new year. Now, if you are like my family, we have steady income and it's a salary based or it is a monthly based because of specific income streams. So this is just one moment in time, a picture or snapshot of what we think might happen. And we want to know, or I want to know, is there enough income to cover all the expenses, including spending, in my budget for the next year? Because everything has changed for us. We moved over the summer, different job, different way of getting income than we previously did before we moved here. And so I just wanted to make sure all our bases were covered and we look pretty good. Now I've already filled in a lot of the numbers, but I've done the math off camera. But on camera, we're going to do the math together and you're going to see the difference. Now we have several streams of income. Our numbers are higher and we spend a little higher, but you can use this strategy no matter if it's low income or high income for your family. It doesn't matter how much money that's coming in, as long as you're looking at the numbers and discovering for yourself what's coming in. That's all you really need to know. So this would work for anybody. I absolutely love this cover. This is an Erin Condren notebook. It's not even a monthly planner. It's not even, a monthly note planner or hourly or any of the other stuff that they have. I got this cover. I just love the color purple. And so if you're interested in Erin Condren products, I do have a link in the description, affiliate link in the description. You can click on it. And if you've never bought from them before, you can get a little bit back. And then I get a little bit too. And I have my name put on it. So it's really cute. I love the colors. These are my favorite combination of colors. And for the winter, I just thought, this would make a great, fleece blanket or something. So it looks very warm to me. And it's my favorite color. So that's the reason why I picked this for this book. I would like to get something that says, maybe annual budgets or something like this, because it is a lined notebook. Now I've already laid my stickers down. I've already got things down, and then now I already want to change my mind on some things on how it looks, but for the most part you will understand what I'm doing and what I'm tracking. Most of this video is just going to be the budget, and then I'll flip through at the end the rest of the trackers that I have. I'm not going to do separate videos for those. So if you only want the budget part, stick around for that. That's next. And then if you really want to see what I have left that I'm tracking, then you can check out the end of the video. So let's get started. Okay, I am back. So I'm zoomed in, hopefully close enough for you to see everything. Like I said, this is just the notebook. It's actually perforated here. So if you want to pull pages as you're doing your budgets and things like that, if you use a notebook, it's just a classic line notebook. They do dot grid, and then they do same kind of notebook, and it's just plain paper. And so I just write annual budgets here, and that's it. That is what I have at the beginning. So here is the budget. I'm going to go ahead and kind of adjust things here. And this is what I have. It looks exactly like my regular budgets, how I list everything, except for I usually do fixed and variable. But because this is a notebook, I can just write all the expenses out and one by one. And it's usually based on when it comes out during the month. So everything that comes out on the first part of the month is at the beginning, and anything later in the month or that I forgot and I added comes out here in the later part of the month. So I've laid all my stickers down. I have my numbers. Now these numbers are large because they are the annual, which means I either multiplied it by 12 or, did the entire year and figured out, like the paychecks my husband's salary, 26 weeks. So I know what his salary base is, and then 26 weeks. We do not think he is getting any kind of raise, so we just based it on this previous year's salary, and that is the minimum we think is going in. So when you are doing your budget, the best thing to do is budget low for the income, the minimum amount you think that's going to come in, and higher for your actual different budgets. So that is how it's going to best reflect whether you have enough income covering all your expenses. So we're going to start on this side. I'm going to just kind of have this open like this, and it is a tighter coil, so it does have a hard time, well, at least mine has a hard time closing here. So there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can just get the income type here at the top. And now I'm zoomed in, and now you can see. So my husband does get military retirement. Now these are actually based on the new numbers that I see pending deposits on coming for the new year. January 1st and December 31st are holidays for banks and holidays for the government and stuff like that. And my husband gets a military retirement check and VA disability. I did not put VA education on here like I normally would, because he is going to finish his stuff, his classes this December by the new year. He's got his last class this last week of the year, and then I think official graduation is in April. So he's doing online school at American Military University. He's getting his master's degree, and we are super excited about that. So no more benefits for post 9/11 GI Bill, which is similar to the Montgomery GI Bill, that pays for the education. And then they give income as well. As an overall, you get a total amount and then deposits throughout the year. So I don't expect any. If we get some, I'll put it under other at the end of the year. As you can see, I budget 0, which means I'm not expecting anything, but if we get a tax refund, VA education, or any dividends we want to include just to track the numbers, I can put that in the actuals. The actuals aren't as nearly as important today to me as the budgeted amount. So let's go ahead and get into the budget and see how much we are expecting for 2023 as our income. Now the military retirement, let me grab some notes here. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So I do have some notes here that I'm going to go off of, and I will show you the monthly here. Monthly income right here for the new year for the military retirement, which is this first one, is higher than the previous year. It's actually going to be $149.22 higher than the previous year for a couple of things. One, we moved from Virginia to Kentucky. Virginia requires state tax on your income from the military retirement. Kentucky has a threshold if you make up to a certain point, which I think is $31,000 in military retirement, or for your monthly income. Anything below that $31,000 or right at $31,000, I think is the rule, is not taxed. Anything above that is taxed. Which covers most of military retirement. And so my husband's should not be taxed this year. We just got to make sure it's in the system correctly with the with DEERS and whatever it is that my husband has to do to correct for state taxes. Does not mean federal is not charged. I do believe federal is charged here, but I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna have to wait until the statements start coming in and do some more research. But right now, this is the monthly deposit that I know that's coming in. So this might adjust throughout the year, and that's fine. I'll see it when I see it. The VA disability is never taxed, state or federal. So this is what's going to be coming in. This is actually $187.87 higher. Again, this is a cost of living adjustment. like I said, no tax was taken out before, and no tax is going to be taken out. So this is what he's going to get. So this should not fluctuate unless the cost of living needs to be adjusted. Now my son's rent is going from $711 monthly to $774. Now my son gets SSI because of his autism, has difficulty, he cannot work, or probably it would be difficult for him to keep and maintain a job. And so he gets SSI, and we did raise it up, and that is going to be $63 more. Now we do this because SSI requires us to charge rent, and that way he can keep getting it, and then that way he gets the full amount, and we are leaving $140 every month in his checking account, and he can use that for recreation, buying clothes, or whatever he wants, or any needs that he has. Mostly we take care of his needs because he pays us rent. We take the rent, and it pays the utilities, it pays the groceries, it pays part of the mortgage, and that's our reimbursement back for his cost of living. And his cost of living went up as well. So that is what we're going to be using that money for. And then this last one is his salary average a month. You take 62 weeks, or not 26 weeks, said that backwards, times my husband's salary, and then divide that by 12, because there's twice during the year he gets a third paycheck. It just doesn't divide evenly. This is just a rounded up version to the penny. And yeah, so that's what we have here. And that's an estimate of what he'll be making for the year. So that's where I got these numbers from. And that's the annual income and monthly income here. And those are the increases. I did not give an increase in salary, so we don't know if there's going to be an increase in salary. So I'll be using my notes to come up with that. And so right now, that money is, the same numbers are listed here as an annual, and we are going to total exactly how much that's going to be. Let's see, which is the best side to do this on. Oh, I think you can see the calculator a little bit better this way as far as the screen. So let's see. We're going to total this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so for the entire year, we should be getting at a minimum, and this is the lowest estimate that I know of, that we can count on, the $124,105.66. So because my husband has multiple streams of income, and we live off all those streams of income, military, retirement, VA, disability, our son's rent, salary, and things like that, this is what we're expecting by the end of next year. And this should cover, hopefully, everything that we need for the entire year. So that gives me an estimate of that. Now, we may not have it may not look like this at the end of the year, but that is what we're hoping and guessing will be. So now comes the expenses. Budgeting for the expenses. So there's a little bit different than what I'm actually budgeting for 2022 to 2023. And my husband and I have made a couple of decisions. And the first one is the mortgage. Now, the mortgage, we are adding $550 every month. It's going to be an additional principal payment. This does not touch the interest. It doesn't pay on the interest. It just pays on the principal, and that is going to save us money. Now let me show you what I have in the back here that I printed when I actually, let me see if I need to zoom out. I printed this out, and what I did is I went to the bank that is servicing our loan. I'm going to zoom back in here, make sure everything's in frame. There we go. And they had a payoff calculator. And so I chose the payoff calculator. Make sure I'm still, as far as I can go. And it says fast track your payoff. So I was putting numbers in here and trying to decide, okay, how much would it take to pay off the loan in a certain amount of time, and what would the savings look like? And this calculator did all of that for me, which I loved, and it was a blessing. So I was really happy to see that. So $550 is what I discovered monthly starting January of 2023, and I calculated it, which means our loan will now be mature or paid off by December of 2038. And we wanted 15 years because in 15 years, my husband will be 65 years old, and I'll be 64, which means we're going into the next part of our retirement, or what we call second retirement, because my husband retired from the Navy, and then now he's going to be retired because he's exhausted. I understand that. But we don't want a mortgage. This is our forever home. We are in our forever home. And so that is a huge blessing that God lined everything up to where we are, where we want to be, even though it is very cold right now. I'm actually filming this on Christmas because everybody got their gifts and we're just kind of sitting around. And I thought, I want to do something a little fun for me, and this is fun for me. So I had already had all this planned. I just didn't know when I was going to film it. And I will show you the temperature here in Kentucky right now. So it had been in the negative degrees, and right now in Richmond where we're at, it is 23 degrees. So it's been very cold, but that actually feels very warm because we were negatives for at night. In fact, last night was negative. It's going to be above negative tonight going into tomorrow. So I'm very thankful for that, and still really cold, but not negative. But we were having -10, -20 degrees for the overnights leading up to Christmas. So, but this is our forever home, and I'm really glad that we got to experience the negative degrees and what our house needs for the future. And I'm also glad that I pre-planned what it was going to look like if we added more to our mortgage. Now, this automatic payment is going to happen regardless of our income. We have decided to keep that going. So our monthly for that is going to be $2,476. And I don't need to turn this just yet, and 67 cents. That's how much we're going to be paying. But you can see we are going to save $153,000, 153.26 in interest, thousands of dollars in interest, $153,000 in interest. That's a lot of money. I mean, you can buy a whole house in some areas with that amount of money. Not a very big house, but you can get a house for that. And to know I'm saving that based on the interest that we have, and our interest is high. It's a 5.99, I think. And we probably will refinance, but we want to make sure when we refinance the payoff date, maturity date stays the same. So we may do adjustments there. But when the interest rates drop, we'll figure that out when the time comes. But for right now, we are going to at least save that if we don't change anything about our mortgage. And we're paying it 165 months early. So that is, which means that basically less than 15 years early. We've already made 3 payments, October, November, and December on our house, and they were just regular payments. We didn't pay extra on it. I wanted to, but God was like, just wait. And I did. And then when I discovered this, I'm like, wow, that's perfect timing. So that was awesome. And as you can see here, there's the amount, $2,477.67. That's going to be our new mortgage amount going every month forward. And that is already set up. I've already whited out any personal information there. And it's going to be an auto payment. So we're going to be over here. And there we go for all of this. And that is what our new annual amount is going to be, with the extra $550 on top of our actual mortgage amount for times 12. Now, our mortgage might fluctuate depending on property taxes, not based on fixed interest and the principal, the loan amount. Property tax, because we have an escrow that's included in this, and property taxes and homeowners insurance. So those things may fluctuate, but the actual basis of our mortgage, which is the fixed interest and fixed mortgage amount, that is the loan mortgage amount, that is going to stay fixed. But anything variable, that would be the other thing. So there's that. We'll see what the actual is. Hopefully I can track it well. I would compare to last year's number to this year's number. One, I don't have my planner out. It's packed somewhere or put away and I can't find it. And two, everything was so different in the middle of the move this year. Tracking that wouldn't make any sense at all. So I'm going to start fresh with 2023. If you're wondering about the stickers, there's Sarah Marie stickers. She has annual budget stickers that you can get. And you can just put it in your own notebooks or your own planners and create your own budgets. So I really like this one. Spectrum is our internet, phone, and cable streaming service. So I really like them so far. Our monthly amount should not be changing until maybe June or July. When I set it up, it was a yearly special $190.99. And for the entire year, this is a rough estimate what it would be. I will be calling before the change happens and make sure it stays that way or lower, or see if there's anything we can do, or does it have to increase? So that might go up. I don't know. Amazon Music went up this past year from $8.99 to $9.56 or something like that. So that is something that I need to pay attention to. And it's my husband's subscription, so right now we're going to keep it, and he loves it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, Greater Europe Mission is a tithe to the VA disability that we have up here, and that tithe is an automatic thing. And they're just, there's a family of missionaries that we absolutely love, and this is what we do annually, but it's sent out every month to them. Let's see, Humana Health went up to $570 from $512. It is a military insurance. We were maybe planning to drop this because my son has Medicaid, and everything's pretty much covered under Medicaid, and the way it is, TRICARE is the primary and Medicaid is the secondary, so he's not really paying a lot in co-pays, but it may not be worth spending this kind of money on. If we can keep this, it'll be easy, even though if the co-pays are different and we still have to pay for some, this not having to pay for this is more than what we would pay in co-pays for the difference than if he just had Medicaid alone. So it may not be worth keeping. And I spelled health wrong here, HEALTH. So that is something that may change, and we'll see what the actual is at the end of next year. Geico, this is what we're paying for our car insurance on average. I did round that up. I tried to round it up to the whole dollar, depending on what the change was, and even if it had change, and even if it had change and it was not needing to round up, I rounded it up anyway. The joint chiropractic for me and my husband for the year on our current plan. So we'll see what that is. And then life insurance, that is what I pay annually for that. I have for many years for my entire family. Discovery Plus, this is what it costs us every month to pay for that, or every year to pay for that. I think we pay $6.99 for a month for that. And then iTunes, this is the $2.99 storage. That's for a year. Vivint, this is our home security system. We own the equipment. The equipment's paid off, but this is our current plan of cellular service that is for contacting any emergency vehicles or any ambulances, fire department, things like that. So any kind of 911 services when when the security system goes off, like carbon monoxide detector or fire detection and smoke detections and things like that. That is what we pay annually for that, for just that service. And my husband's subscription here, this is what he pays annually for that. And then electric, I did an average of I took the 3 months that I have paid electric here in Kentucky after we moved here in August. I took whatever from August to the current bill that's due, that just got paid this month, and divided it by 3 or 4 months, whatever it was, and then multiply it by 12, and this is what I came up with. And I think I overestimated this one at $2,100 because of not familiar with what we're going to pay in electric. That includes our heat, air conditioning, lights, all of that. We do have a propane fireplace that I did not put, well, I think it's part of our sinking funds now. Propane fireplace, so once a year that will be paid. Hopefully that'll help with the heating bills this month, because we're running the fireplace during the day, especially since it's been freezing. Oh my gosh. Water, I averaged at $504 for the year based on usage currently right now. We're paying that monthly. Trash is quarterly, but this is the average for the annual. So far, that may adjust. We might add a recycle bin or another trash can. We haven't decided yet. I still need to call them. And then here with HP Instant Ink, I still use their services to print, and it's $76.20 for the year. AT&T, based on the last month's bill, this is what a year would look like for 4 phones, all cellular, unlimited data, talk and text. Well, talk might have minutes, but we don't use the minutes very much. But unlimited text and data and whatever the plan is, I have no idea. But this is what it costs for the year. Tithing the salary for the year, and that's just my husband's salary with his job. And then sinking funds, this is an average of what we put in every year based on the annual expenses that we pay once a year, and we save up a little bit every month and put it in the sinking funds. That's what we have here. And then grocery household, this is the current spending right now with inflation. I made sure we had that for the year. Restaurants, miscellaneous, and gasoline. Of course, I don't budget anything for unbudgeted, but I'd like to see what our actuals for the year unbudgeted look like, and I'm going to kind of redefine unbudgeted, because I used it as just a spending out of the buffer of the checking account willy-nilly for this year, because we had a profit that we made on the house, and we were, decorating and doing all kinds of things. I got very used to spending whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And January, I want to calm that down quite a bit. Co-pays for medical. This is doctor's appointments. For our co-pay is like $22 each time we have a doctor's visit, or medications or anything. I know in January my husband has a procedure coming up, a minor procedure, outpatient thing, and so we're going to have to pay out of pocket for some of that and things like that. Military retirement tithe. So we tithe that to typically like a food bank or homeless shelters and things like that out in the community. We take every source of income, and when it comes in, and then we tithe it off the top, what the Lord has led us to, and we have 3 areas that we really tithe from. So, and I'll explain that in just a minute, but that would be what we do annually, and that might change as well. I have to double check that. And then my husband, no, I did include the new amount that for this year. And then my husband wants personal money. I spend out of our checking account personal money, and out of miscellaneous or unbudgeted is where it kind of comes from when I do my spending. So I really want to keep that in check. But my husband has been relying on his VA education benefits, and any deposits that come from that, if you watched our past videos, goes straight to him. He got to keep every penny because the family did not need the extra spending for groceries or any utilities or anything like that. And we always had money left over, and the family did great. I'm like, honey, you served your country 20 years. You were deployed on 9/11, the day it happened, and many other real world situations. These benefits I want you to take advantage of because, in my mind, he deserved it. He definitely deserved, and this is like a small amount we can give, or I can give to my husband to kind of, have what he needs for himself, entertainment wise, or just better health or whatever. Fishing, hiking, all those things for his mental health is great. So if he wants to buy camping gear, if he wants to buy new hiking shoes, if he wants to buy a canoe, if he wants, which he's done, or camera equipment to, video and photography for going outside and doing these things, I'm all for giving that to him. So now that he's finished with school and no longer getting any more VA education benefits, I want to make sure he still continues to get something, his own personal money. And so we call it Visa Go Card. It's just a prepaid card, and the money is going to be transferred every month into the account at the end of every month, kind of when I do my sinking funds. That's why it's at the end here. And the total for the year is going to be $2,100. I probably spend way more than that on myself, so on stickers and things like that. So yeah, he absolutely deserves personal money. He's worked hard his whole life, and I want to make sure he definitely can have that as long as we can afford it. And I think we always will. One thing I forgot about, because we front loaded my Roth IRA and didn't have to save it out of every paycheck, is the Roth IRA for 2024. I have 2023's money already in savings. I'm going to increase it by $500 because I think in 2023 I can use, I can add an extra $500 on what I saved. I saved $6,000. Now I think they upped it up to $6,500, and I actually came up with a new tracker for that. Let me see, do I have it in here already? I'm not sure. Yes, I do have it in here. Okay, so let me zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so this is the new tracker I made for myself. I wanted to make sure I can save with every paycheck. And so my husband typically gets 3 pays every month, the first of the month, and then 2 salary checks. And then there's a couple times a couple times of the year where he gets a 3rd paycheck that doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't apply to the bills or our spending because my husband always gets paid on the 1st of the month, and we refresh every month on the 1st of every month. So those paychecks, I don't know what we're going to do with yet. I think we're going to save those, what's left of those, to a vacation fund, like a bigger vacation fund. And then but we are going to take out $171 for each pay that comes in the 1st of the month, and then the 2 salary checks. And if there's a 3rd salary check, that will also be taken out. And then in order for this to come out even at $6,500, the last 2 nest eggs down here that I created for myself will be $172. And this is how I'm going to track it this year. So I'm really excited about that. I printed this out the other day and kind of figured out the numbers, and I can use my little highlighters here I usually use this green one because green money. You can use color pencils or anything like that and kind of highlight all of that to do your own savings challenge. So I think this is really cool. I made this in Canva, and yeah, I really like that. My $6,500. And if you divide any of these numbers by 12, that's what the monthly amount's going to be, but this is the annual expense. And now here's the part with me totaling these up so that I can get a number for you guys. Okay, I am back. So I have my total expenses number, and that number is $115,715.56. Big number there. So if I subtract this number, hit the subtraction sign, and add, which is obviously the income is more than the expenses, and add or subtract that out and get the difference between these two numbers, 124,105 with 66 cents. That gives me a total difference of potential savings if I saved everything left over at the end of every month and not go over these numbers, $8,390.10. That is the difference. So I definitely have enough income coming in potentially based on the numbers I do have to cover the expenses I believe I will have, as long as I don't go into any debt and as long as I don't have other monthly payments. This would be the perfect world. But we know this is not a perfect world, and so we know there are going to be changes, and there may actually be added expenses that I don't know are coming. The Lord knows, but I don't know. So He's going to prepare me on that along the way. But this is a great way to start. I love doing monthly budgets, and I love doing annual budgets, not so much the actuals, but the estimated amount. I like going into the new year knowing I'm in the positive, not in the negative, for what the budget, for what I need for the budget based on what I typically spend. So that is very helpful to me and helps me stay focused on, oh, I can save money, or oh, I can make the budget work and spend what I want to spend or need for my family and still keep up with my goals. Goals meaning I wanted to add $550 to the mortgage every month going forward, and that looks like it's possible. And add to my Roth IRA, the max it out every year. And because I'm front loading it in the previous year, or the beginning of the year, not the previous year, but like the January of every year, because I'm front loading it and then letting it do its job throughout the year, whether it goes down, whether it goes up, I definitely want to make sure that I have the money long term, so I have something to draw off later in life. So the next 15 years I should have something, a little bit to draw off of that is mine, and I can take care of myself a little bit. These, all these things are goals. My husband's personal money, I don't worry about mine because I spend out of the checking account, and that's where some of this other stuff is, and I can use the buffer and things like that. But if I want to be strict, I can definitely rein it in and watch out on the shopping. And the tithing is still happening, so that is excellent. I don't think I explained it very well. So tithing is in 3 places. I'll just kind of put a star. There we go. And not a very good star, but there's a tithing here. And there's a tithing here. So you'll see that these are based estimates on these numbers here, and I just kind of round up the numbers. Military retirement is almost $21,000, so I put $2,100. VA disability is 28, and we almost do 28 here. We might increase our tithing just a little bit to kind of match that for our favorite missionaries that we help take care of their income so they can do their missions overseas. And then the tithing of the salary, this is the general fund of the church and things like that. So that is the salary check here. Now the military retirement one that we haven't really, I've been putting it in savings, but we haven't really found what organization we're going to use just yet, but we're narrowing it down and, praying with the Lord and figuring out, what is it you want us to do. And we do know it's probably a food bank or homeless shelter or a combination of thereof and a specific organization. So in our new location. So we have something that is local to us, that helps the community we live in, the community that we are supporting in our church. We haven't committed to a church, but we are giving to a specific church that we're going to fairly semi-regularly right now. It's hard with the holidays and extreme weather, but we are kind of saying this is our church for right now until God really leads us to membership where we belong. And then this is our out of the country, overseas kind of a thing. So we take all the different incomes that come in, and we don't count really the rent income because it's actually going to bills. We don't make any money off of it. This pays for groceries, this pays for utilities, all of that. So that is what that is supposed to do. It helps my son take care of his needs and keeps a roof over his head, clothes on his back, food in his belly. And he keeps a portion for recreation. So we don't really tithe that because that actually really does pay part of our, goes to those areas, and we make no profit. So there you go. So that is what we have here. So budget for 2023, we are done with that. So this is what it's all about, is making sure you have enough income to cover all the expenses and taking care of your family. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.